We are now welcoming Jialin Li, who is coming to talk on the Hetu Protocol and the work that they're doing for incentive mechanisms in research as well. Yeah, can you hear us? Can we hear you? Can you talk real quick?
Hello, hello. Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I think
Hello.
so. We're good. But let me see if I can keep talking.
Okay, hello, hello. Yes.
Yeah, all right, you can begin. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry that I couldn't join you there, so I have to join online. But let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Jialin Li. I'm the co-founder of Adveata Labs and Hetu Protocol. So today I'm very excited to give a very brief introduction about our Hetu Protocol, which we define a new type of asset for particularly for AI for science called the deep intelligence model. So I think everybody is fully aware that AI today is becoming very very powerful, and especially for like vertical AI, like different scientific areas, is already reaching capabilities of like expert scientific level, scientist level. So even though we have all these really, really powerful AI models, different vertical AI models, but the issue is that there are a lot of people contributing to this progress of AI, like these AI models, right? So all these contributors, whether you contribute your data, you contribute your compute, you contribute your new algorithms, right? But the problem is that there it's really hard for everybody who participated in this process to get equitable, fair rewards and then in terms of like this assets and then liquidity is still a problem, right? And a lot of these AI utilities, right, like the data you provided, the algorithms, the research you did, and then the compute you provide, right? So a lot of these are not verifiable, right? So even though you provide these services, you're not getting the proper reward you're supposed to get. And in terms of like Web3 infrastructure, right? So blockchains, right? So even though they are getting faster and better, but they're not really keeping up with what we call AI speed. So why are we targeting this problem now? So the issue, okay, for of course, there's explosion of agentic AI and scientific computation, right? But the problem is that we already reached a point that to have any further improvement in all these AI models really relies on the quality of data, and in this case, the quality of domain expertise, right? Especially for different scientific areas. If you want to have specific agents, specific AI models, you really need this high quality domain expertise, right? But the issue is that why would all these domain experts, all these like scientists contribute their data, right? If we are not being able to give them the right attribution, the right revenue distribution, then there's no really no incentive for them to actually contribute to this process, right? So what we really need is be able to have verifiable and machine speed settlement to be able to actually incentivize as many as possible these domain experts to participate in bringing better AI. Okay, so solve these problems. So we introduced our Hetu protocol. So Hetu introduced a new form of like digital assets called deep intelligence money. Right, so it is a big infrastructure project, right? So it has many different layers. But overall, this the Hetu protocol is able to provide attributable fair attribution to the actions you contribute to AI for science. And in particular, it has three main components, right? First is a deep intelligence market, where we introduce several new form of assets and different mining capabilities. And second, we introduce a new form of intersubjective engine, where we keep track of your causal contribution to AI models and scientific contributions. And lastly, we build a hyperscalable layer two, where we can get real time finality and also super high throughput. And I think one thing that I think is really interesting is that we introduced this new form of digital asset called Flux, which is different from traditional tokens. So this new form of digital asset is auditable, programmable, financeable, and cash flow carrying. So I can introduce little bit more on each of these components. So first for Hetu is the deep intelligence market. And here, as I already mentioned, we introduced several new form of assets. Right? So first is intelligence mining, which is the Hetu token. So here it is a foundational mechanism to mint tokens based on verifiable AI contribution. And second, you can stake this Hetu token to mint protocol native stablecoins, AI stablecoin. And lastly, this AI native coin, which we call the Flux, this is really based on your causal contribution, so how you actually positively contribute to the formation of new, more powerful AI models. Right? So for that, I will introduce the actual protocol that we use to help you keep track of these causal inferences. So this is the intersubjective consensus engine, where we propose a new form of consensus protocol called proof of causal work, right? So instead of the traditional consensus protocols like proof of work or proof of stake, here using POCW or proof of causal work, we establish a causal graph representing the causal relationship among all different events happening in the system. Right. So for example, you can imagine, so the formation of AI model depends on, for example, the scientists contributing their data, different users contributing their data, and then so that will later help, for example, the compute cluster to calculate a new model, right? So all these different events in the system form a big causal graph, and then our POCW protocol will help keep track of this causal relationship and make sure that no one can alter the causal relationship. And then by doing that, we introduce a new form of protocol using a verifiable logical clock. And then this protocol really incentivizes building upon existing causal graph, which is what we call extending causality. And then because this is different from traditional consensus protocol, so we are able to achieve more than 10 million plus QPS. And lastly, we have our the bottom layer, which is a hyperscalable layer 2. So here we have a few innovation in terms of the blockchain protocols, including a DAG-based BFT layer and a new form of sequencer layer using some new type of hardware and then new type of distributed protocol. Right, so together, so sorry, I don't have time to go into the protocol details, but just as a quick high-level description of what I can achieve, we can do a TPS of 210,000 transactions per second and a finality under 400 milliseconds. So by combining all these different layers together, we're able to push the boundary of AI for science. Right? And here, so essentially, I can give you a quick overview of the entire workflow. So for example, you can have different contributor of data, right? So for example, scientific data that publish all their maybe domain expert data. And then we have these relay nodes who will actually be able to disseminate this data to the data miners. And these data miners will do a validation of this data and then further push this data to, for example, compute nodes to help refine existing models to build further models. And then throughout this process, so Hetu protocol is able to keep track of your contribution by including your contribution into this causal graph. And then all this causal graph later will turn into AI native money called Flux. And then throughout this process, we'll also be able to mine Hetu protocol and then stake those to generate the AI stablecoin. Given the short time constraints, so I'm not able to go into very detail into the technical architecture of each component. But overall, so today I introduced Hetu protocol and then the new type of asset called deep intelligence money. And then, so the Hetu protocol includes three major components: the deep intelligence market, the intersubjective consensus layer, and then the hyperscalable layer 2. We believe using with Hetu and this new set of AI native assets, we're able to enable AI for science, deep intelligence science. Here are some links to the Hetu website, our Telegram, and our GitHub pages. And I'll be happy to answer your questions during the panels. Thank you, everyone.
It'll be a little bit hard to switch between the Zoom and the panel. We may just take a couple of questions now if anybody has direct questions for Hetu Protocol.
Sure.
I'm just going to maybe move you around so you can see a little bit of the folks around here. And also, yeah, thank you. Does anybody have direct questions? Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Sweet.